Oh, hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to another video. Guys, welcome to our weekly news roundup. We're going to be talking about the big major news of the week. But guys, before we get started, make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. We post everything down below in the description. We are on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Twitter. As well, guys, I post a link on my Twitter page. If you guys want to join, give your thoughts, comments, discussions, always feel free. Just go to my Twitter page and click the link. But let me introduce my co-host for tonight, both Alex and Alvaro. Guys, say
Hey
what's up.
guys, how's it going? What's up?
Plus,
All right, perfect. Guys, the theme for our episode tonight, we're gonna be talking about Lamine Yamal because he performed. We actually, he came on for Spain's game against Georgia, and he scored. He became Spain's youngest ever goal scorer, and we're gonna be talking about his future
Uh,
expectations.
Isn't he also the youngest ever player to play for the national team?
I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
two
Yeah.
records in one is
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Two records. So we'll talk about Lamine Yamal. We'll make him the focus, and then we'll be talking about Xavi because I did talk about earlier in the week about Xavi's future because he is set to be renewing with the club, and so I want to ask your guys' opinions on Xavi. See if he deserves that new contract. If he doesn't, are there any conditions that you would like before offering him that new contract? But let's get straight into it and let's talk about Lamine Yamal. Expectations for this season. We'll just we'll answer that question. We'll jump straight in. Guys, what are your expectations for Lamine Yamal this season?
Look, I'll go ahead and say it. This might be controversial, but I think we're looking at the next golden boy.
Next
This
Golden Boy?
yeah,
Okay.
this kid is something else. The fact that he's coming to the first team, right? 16 years old, and he's already benched Rafinha. He's already shown that he's one of the best offensive
Yeah.
threats we have. Not even talking about Rafinha because we all know he's a bum. But anyways, we see how they. I think I muted myself by accident. My bad. We see how the team is now being led by someone he's really younger than everyone else. He's the youngest person there. He's not even of age, and he's already like creating all the chances. He's dribbling, taking on the defenders. He's doing so much, and it's just to me it's insane that we have such a talent at our disposal like that. It's incredible. And I mean, expectations for this season, I'm not going to tell you he's going to have a 40 plus goal and assist season because that is really hard, especially for young.
That would be insane if that happens. Like
But listen,
that's like a veteran player right there.
but I'm saying like I do expect 20. I mean, not that I expect, but from what he's been doing, I do see 20 plus goals and assists this season, which I think by his standards and by a lot of young player standards, that's a phenomenal season.
Not even by young player standards. I think just by standards in general. I think
that's
20.
a normal season period.
Yeah,
Well,
like
no, but again, it is
that's
Barcelona.
good.
It's not just any team, and we do know the talent that the team has. But if I'm being honest with you, I think the way he's playing, he's got to be the most exciting young talent in Europe. And I do think if he is to play like this the whole year, he's your next golden boy. There's not much competition there. I will say though, you gotta watch out for him with injuries. I'm not saying he's injury prone, but he is less physical. He's a less strong player, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with not being as strong, but he does give me some flashbacks of what Ansu Fati was like,
Okay.
and how we were also excited about him. So like, I really want to avoid something like that happening to him, and I think we gotta watch out with injuries. But other than that, he's a fantastic player. I'm a huge fan.
Okay.
I think his goal for this season is just to literally just grow as a player, earn more playing, earn Xavi's trust, which we can tell that he's already been earning,
Yeah.
and earn that trust to a level that you completely overrun Rafinha for the right wing role. I strongly believe that after this season, they might just send Rafinha out of the team because he's going to demand more playing time that Jamal will have taken over. But his main goal is to just stay healthy, like Alex said, and him being a skinny kid, that doesn't really matter. We've seen that players like Messi. I mean, he's had a great career, not an injury prone career, and again, not a physical player. So I mean, and I don't mean physical player as not like contact, but I mean his physical build.
Yeah, he's not that strong.
Yeah.
I mean, I mainly say it because I mean, yeah, there's obviously nothing wrong with like
No, and
wingers.
either
I mean,
way,
wingers are typically very lean, but
and a major injury of like an ACL, like what happened to somebody that can really derail your career. But burying anything like that, just I mean, he's already showing flashes of being of being class, and he's
Yeah, I mean, look, the way he puts defenders on skates, like I see the way he cuts
Yeah.
in, and he's so comfortable with both feet. Like it's really surprising because he is primarily left-footed, but like you see the way he just cuts to his right, like as if he didn't have
Yeah,
a weak.
what impresses me more, that game against Villarreal, that
Oh yeah.
he
Hmm.
crossed and then with his right foot, not even with much technique, just casually just shot it to like the top right.
Yeah, and
The
he hit
goalie
the
has no
crossbar in
reach
that
on.
game.
It hit crossbar. So I mean,
Nah, it's insane.
it's
Hmm.
just natural for him, and so all he needs to do is listen, stay healthy, gain Xavi's trust, and
Yeah.
again, like Alex said, I can't really think of any other. Okay, Bellingham, obviously, for Golden
Oh yeah,
Boy,
but
Yeah, but
different
it was
players.
like he's 3 years older.
but again,
Yeah.
yeah, someone his age and even 2 years older than him, no one in the 16, 17, 18, 19 range is as good as he is right now.
What are you talking
He's
about? There's Xavi Simmons out there. Hey, all jokes aside, he's
wait,
having a
wait,
good season.
wait. Xavi Simmons, you're ranking him as like one of the. Hold on.
No, no, no. I was saying that as a joke, but I am
Uh,
saying like you gotta be no, but you gotta be on the lookout
Yo,
for this
Xavi
because
Simmons fell
yeah.
off so hard, bro.
no. That's
I,
He's
I
season
hope
one.
he
funny,
You
made
guys
a
yeah.
can watch
comeback.
ball. You got.
I
Did you
hope he made
guys
a
see his
comeback.
season at PSV?
I mean,
Yo,
it
okay,
was
Xavi,
it was, it was
he
good. It
always
was
comes
good,
down.
but
okay,
like
but look at where he's
as like
playing.
one of the
That's the
best
thing.
players.
Look at where he's playing.
Okay.
Right
Again,
now he's playing at RB Leipzig, I think.
that league is not top. I mean, they consider
Okay,
one of the
but
top
but he
ones.
was playing. He was playing in League One. Like that's not top either. And he was playing in PSG, so he wasn't gonna get any
That's what
play.
I'm saying. Right now, I mean, I know, and I agree with you. He's having a good season, but regardless of that, I feel like a player with as much hype as he had, you gotta do what he's doing. Maybe in Bundesliga. Bundesliga is more competitive
By far, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
than
Yeah,
the, the, the League One.
But anyway, going back to the topic,
Bayern's Liga.
what do you think of Yamal? Elias?
Okay, talking about Lamine Yamal, I agree with to both of your points. I think the main goal for Lamine Yamal is not to look at the numbers, not to look at that or whether like he breaks crazy records or anything like that. Is just play regular football, and be healthy in order to be on the pitch. I think that's the most important thing. Um, he's already having a prominent role in this team. If he continues this, he can be a very very exciting player for Barcelona in the years to come. Just one of the worries that I've said before is that I don't want Xavi to overplay him and having him to be burnt out
Like
because it's
Pedri.
being yeah exactly like Pedri who played 70 games um in his first season in which he debuted that because that's an insane amount of games. But Lamine Yamal is actually expected to start this weekend, and that's actually crazy because is Lamine Yamal going to replace Rafinha in the starting lineup?
He
That's
is.
I mean, yeah, like
that's
look,
crazy.
look,
He
look.
is.
I said earlier that Rafinha was a bum, and that was harsh. Obviously, he's not a bad player, but I do think that Yamal does something that Rafinha doesn't do, and I feel like Yamal has more confidence while taking on the defender. He makes smarter decisions when passing. Rafinha he tends to always cut to his left foot and try to do that long diagonal cross, which sometimes it works, but you gotta time the run well. You gotta drop a perfect ball. Like I don't know. I feel like his game is very one-minded, and yes, he has good passing, and Rafinha is a good dribbler. But I feel like Jamal at this point he can do everything Rafinha can do.
Okay, no,
And
but
Rafinha
look,
can't.
either way, yeah, even if Rafinha cannot take on defenders like Yamal does. Even if Rafinha is faster than Yamal on a sprint, which I don't think he is, but even if he was, Yamal is quicker on the ball than Rafinha. He
True.
doesn't just cross the ball. He's shown that he has no weak foot. Rafinha is purely lefty. So and like you say, Rafinha is a very one-dimensional player, cut and cross.
Hmm.
And that surprised me because I'm pretty sure that last night we made the pre-match, the match preview for the what was the game? What was the latest rival? The
I think it was against Osasuna actually.
Osasuna, and I predicted Rafinha starting because I said to
Osasuna.
myself, Xavi likes Rafinha. I'm expecting him to start and then Jamal to come in for like 20 minutes. Jamal starting.
Yeah, yeah.
So
He started. I was actually super surprised that he actually started.
me too.
But
So that shows you how much now will we see him in the UCL group stage?
yeah, because
Probably.
apparently this weekend Xavi is going to rotate the squad in preparation for next week's game against Royal Antwerp in the Champions League. And I want to ask you guys quickly: do you think it's a good idea for Xavi to rotate the squad in preparation for that game? Because when one side of the coin, I do understand that Barcelona, they want to start in the Champions League as strong as they possibly can, go full out and basically start strong. But at the same time, we're going to be playing against Real Betis this weekend at home. Keep in mind, and so there is some leeway there. But do you want to maybe take a risk in La Liga, knowing that we are already behind Real Madrid?
I mean, I do get that, but at the same time, it's still very early on in the league to like. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't worry now, but I'm saying like it's really early in the league still, and maybe you can afford to do this for a game, especially you want to get off to a good start in the UCL. I mean, I don't know if it's the right thing to do. I definitely understand that. I just think it's one of those situations where he's the coach for a reason, and there's stuff that we know and that we don't know.
Yeah.
So I think whatever Xavi thinks is the right choice here, but I do understand both sides of the argument. Like I do get it. Like, hey, we shouldn't be taking the league so unseriously, right? But at the same time, the UCL should be your main focus.
It also depends what rotations.
Yeah, because if you're just sitting out the whole
Well,
no,
no. But
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the players that are being talked about to actually play the game is Ferran Torres, Fermin Lopez, Sergio Roberto, and Marcos Alonso, as well as Inigo Martinez. Like those are the players that would be coming into the starting lineup, basically.
Honestly, it really Xavi is. I think he's a very good coach, and I think that was going to take Barca to the eventual UCL title. But bro, I don't know why he's saying Roberto doing. You already got the right back that you wanted in Joao Cancelo. Why the fuck is Sergio Roberto still getting so many minutes? And okay, if they say rotate him after minute 70, okay. But again, Xavi's doing this so he can prevent what happened last year. Last year you had in the UCL group stage, you already had half of the squad injured.
Yeah.
So he's trying to prevent what happened last year. I understand it, but again, one thing's rotating for Torres, Rafinha, people like that. Another thing's rotating for Sergio Roberto. And Sergio Roberto should not see the light of day after January.
Yeah.
Even though we know he's gonna see it, he should not be seeing it. And
Why can't we send him to the Camel League?
at this point, he's just getting those minutes because he's the first captain. We have no idea why he's the first captain when Ter Stegen could literally be the captain every single day. But
Yeah, it's just
are we gonna talk about Japan just casually slapping Germany or?
Bro, like I was actually going like to mention that like real quick just because like Ter Stegen, he did play in Germany's both him and Gundogan started in Germany's 4-1 loss to Japan. That's crazy. Imagine getting dunked on by anime like twice in the World Cup and what's it called? No, I mean serious. Like
you're right.
Bro, imagine.
You're right.
But bro, like I'm super happy to see Germany fall. And imagine not being able to qualify, no, get past the group stage in 2 consecutive World Cups. I mean,
sounds like someone hasn't forgotten about 2014.
Yeah, basically. I'm so upset about that. But we'll definitely make a video, guys, talking about like the international game as a whole. The big major games. We could definitely talk about that. But now I want to shift the conversation and talk about Xavi because recent news reports were basically stating that Xavi is super close to a renewal with the club. His contract will be extended until 2025. His salary is going to be doubled, and not only his salary will be increased, but also that of the coaching staff, and all like his team, basically. His assistant coach, and all the staff that are involved in the daily training and in the daily preparations for the team.
I mean,
so I want to.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say real quick. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I mean, I'll let you finish your question first, because
no, I was about to say, like, does Xavi deserve a renewal?
Yes, because he's been the first coach to. I mean, we already won 2 trophies with him last season. Yeah. He's been the first coach that has, I think, given the team confidence, and going back to beating Madrid, winning actual trophies that matter. um, and making us competitive again. Now, I will say this: if we do not, because I can't stress this enough, if Barcelona does not make it out the group stage this season for the
Look,
UCL, you have to sack Xavi.
that's what I was gonna say right
You
now.
have to sack him. No, I'm not kidding. Like, you have to sack him.
Laporta,
Like I've mentioned this before. Like not only
Laporta
shock Xavi, but like deport him,
Laporta's
revoke his
renewing him.
citizenship.
Look. Laporta's renewing him because Laporta knows that the Barca is gonna make it out the group stage. We're joking around about, oh yeah, if they don't make it past, he's gonna get deported. Barca's gonna make it. Now, I would like to see how far they get into. Shut up, lies. I would like, I would like to, I would like to see how far they get into it. Again, Xavi has to win at least a trophy this season again because the team got better than last year. At least one of the domestic trophies. But again, it all depends about the UCL because if you get a match, I don't know about the standings, so don't at me saying, oh, but this is impossible, whatever. In matchups, let's say Barca gets matched up with Bayern in the first round of the knockout stages. That's a bit of a challenge. But if you get matched with freaking Sevilla, it's different. So I mean,
That's only happening in the Europa League. We both know they're fumbling
Yeah.
on purpose.
That's what I'm
even in the
saying.
Europa League, we struggle,
Barca
bro.
needs to at
We
least
struggle
make a
against Man United and freaking Eintracht Frankfurt.
honestly, if Barca's group was like Newcastle's group, I feel like Laporta will not be so eager to renew his contract.
I mean, I just think that Laporta's also being nice and giving him time because we do realize that nowadays in football, fans and clubs are really reactionary in the sense that, like, you're having a cup, a rough patch. Yeah, but Spurs is the
You've
worst
been through more coaches than you've been.
Oh, if we're gonna talk about Spurs, we're gonna talk about Chelsea.
Oh yeah, no, it's not the Chelsea. It's called the brothel, bro. Get it right.
We're gonna talk about the brothel first, then we'll talk about Spurs.
Continue.
Anyway, in general, like, people just tend to want to replace managers soon, but you do have to realize I think Xavi's done a good job since he's been here. It's very different from what Koeman was, from what Valverde, I think that was the name of the
it was Valverde.
Yeah,
there's Kiki Setien.
Right. So, like, it's a very different team from what we had before. But we still have to get forward, right? We still got to get to what Barca was like in 2015 and before, when we were actually winning the UCL.
Yeah.
But other than that, just give Xavi time, give him the money, give him the resources, which he already has, but give him the confidence, right? Tell him, you have control over the team right now. Win something, or at least like for example, in the UCL, get to like semis or something. Like, be serious.
Yeah, in the UCL when we face the two, I forgot names. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure it's Shakhtar and I forgot the other team.
It's Shakhtar Donetsk. You have Royal Antwerp.
And
then you also have Porto.
And then the Porto, but Porto's competitive.
Yeah, Porto is competitive.
I already know that he's gonna start Sergio Roberto in one of those two games. I better not say Roberto in the bench against Porto. Those are competitive games. Play Cancelo. Cancelo can play 90 minutes. No, bro.
That might actually be the play, though. Like, they might actually play Cancelo.
Marcos Alonso or Sergio Roberto starting against Porto, I'm gonna lose my shit.
No, I do want to see Cancelo be given more playtime because, like, in recent games, he hasn't played that much. Because Portugal's game just now against
look, it's been one game. It's been one game since they signed him. I understand that, and we both predicted that he was not going to start.
Yeah,
but and again, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even start in the next game, but he plays 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But I better see him getting 60 minutes minimum from here on out.
Yeah, especially against Royal Antwerp at home. I definitely want to see him starting that game. But is Xavi's renewal just basically depending on the UCL?
I think so. Yeah, if we're not serious in the UCL, get him the fuck out of here.
No. But I asked that question because what happens if he does, for example, get past the group stage, but for example, the style of play isn't convincing. We beat our round of 16 opponent. We get to the quarterfinals and we meet like a big team. For example, let's say we meet Man City or PSG, for example, and we go out.
PSG is a big team.
I mean, it's called LSG. But
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Uber Eats.
The point is, Laporta doesn't want to be embarrassed in Europe, and by him making it past the group stage and getting into knockout stages, that's him kind of saying, "Okay, we're back." So I don't think this year, and we've all said it. Do we predict Barca to win the UCL? Not really. Do
Mm.
we want them
It's
to?
gonna be Union Berlin,
Do
right?
we
We can all
want
agree.
them to? Fuck yeah, of course we want them to. We're fans, but we don't predict them. We expect them to get to quarterfinals. And
Yeah.
again, if Xavi's able to win La Liga or the other two domestic trophies and get to quarterfinals, that's a very solid season for Xavi.
I think that is. I think the
But
main key when we look at the Champions League is that we want to come away with it with basically renewed confidence, knowing that hey, we can play against the top of the top, the best of the best, for example. Because last season we played Bayern Munich out of the park in the Allianz Arena actually, and it wasn't that Xavi got his tactics wrong or anything like that. It was just that Lewandowski and they couldn't finish their chances.
and
That's
plus that young core that Barca has of Pedri, Gavi, Frankie. Oh, Frankie played some knockout stages during COVID. But
yeah.
aside from that, does Madrid media make it fun?
Yeah. I was just on Twitter right now scrolling through this, and
Yeah.
and I saw a tweet talking about that, and I just want to
But
point
then
out
they
the
get mad
bias.
when they do it to Vinny, right?
When Vinny does this, no, when people attack Vinny, literally the entire earth
For real.
stops to basically
No
tell
double
Vinicius.
standard, man.
Yeah, and it was just like remember that media campaign from Adidas, and all the posts saying like, "Oh, Vinicius
Which
is
look, don't get me
being
wrong, like
attacked."
I agree. Like I agree with with how people react, but but then don't be so sneaky about it. Like they do it to Yamal too, like, denounce it
No,
as well.
no, it's just because like Vinny Jr. he plays for Real Madrid. You know, he's the darling of Spain basically, and he's Madrid's superstar, and you just can't criticize Real Madrid. Like you can't do that. And this is like knowing that Vinny Jr. like yes, so, like sometimes he does get racial abuse, but he gets abused because he provokes the other players. And this has been seen constantly. For example, like you don't see other players being provoked like that, and this is why. And I, as always, guys, we all discourage like the racial abuse. We don't encourage that. But if you go out and you support Vinny Jr., you should go out and support Lamine Yamal because that's not right. But we
But look,
deviated. We had a little tangent right there. Oh,
back
what
to what
happened?
I was saying.
Yeah.
Um, this Barca's young core, aside from Frankie, they have not seen the UCL. The UCL knockout stages. So yeah, you bring in people with experience like Wondogan, Lewandowski, Cancelo, but in order for a team to function, you need the future of the team to get into knockout stage action. And so more than ever, they need to have a deep run and see what Pedri and Araujo, which are gonna be the two future captains of the team, can do under action, under pressure.
I when we talk about Laporta like, giving Xavi a new contract, I think it was a little bit too early to give it to him. I think
I agree.
I think let the season play out and then to see whether
Then
or not to give
consider, yeah.
Xavi renewal,
I agree.
basically. Because yes, Xavi has won La Liga, he's won the Supercopa de España, but at the same time, the play hasn't been convincing. And I mentioned this. We haven't been at all convincing in the Champions League or in the Europa League. And I know you can say, hey, in the Europa League, the team wasn't motivated. We didn't take that seriously, but still,
Yeah, you should be winning.
You should be winning that trophy. And so, I think Laporta like maybe just rushed a little bit into giving Xavi a contract, and that's my thought. I personally I would have given Xavi the contract after the season, depending on how it went. But that's my take on it.
Even in January, not now.
Yeah, even in January, and in January, Barcelona is looking to jump into the transfer market and reinforce the squad because there were some reports talking about like, hey, Barcelona is looking for a pivot. They're looking at some new strikers. And these four names actually popped up, and it was Guido Rodriguez for that CDM spot, Jorginho, Thomas Mueller, and Alvaro Morata.
Mueller. Yeah.
Because
And,
these are all like free
yo,
agents.
Morata looks like the biggest Xavi move of all time.
Oh no, but like, are you gonna be playing for Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and Barcelona?
Yeah.
That's
Like,
cursed. That's some my career type shit.
Hey man, when he retires, when he retires, he can brag about that.
Mr. Offside himself.
Mr. Offside, and then he
Yo,
played for UA as
I could
well.
see. No, you said that I could seriously see it. Barca doing that,
Chill.
and that
Don't
scares me.
manifest it.
That scares me.
Don't manifest it. Um, but yeah, it's crazy. And talking about the basically the transfer market, there a report came out that Deco he's going to be basically getting all the scouts together, and just having like a planning session, just basically talk with all the scouts and saying like, hey, these are the goals, and making sure everyone is on the same page. And honestly, when you look at the job that that Deco has done so far, I think it's very, very good. And I think he's done wonderful so far. When you look
I'm,
at at his targets, I think that's perfect.
I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
right now why they go had that meeting,
Well,
Okay.
trying to like scout earlier talent, right? That's what it
Yeah.
was about. Trying to
Yeah.
scout players
Hmm.
before they become big.
Yeah.
That's Laporta telling him we better be repeating what we did with Pedri because I mean that transfer market is getting more and more pricey, and teams are overpaying for players that are not good. So they want to try to do things
cough,
like that.
cough,
Like
Mason Mount and Kai Havertz.
so
Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer.
that's Laporta saying I'm trying to free up funds, but you can't be drastically spending funds on trash players. So you better find hidden stars that cost
Look,
pennies like Pedri before they become
that's what
big.
I'm saying, and I have confidence because Deco has been shown to be a great agent and a great
Yep.
scout for Barcelona. But I will also remind everyone that Barcelona has one of the best scouting networks in the world. I
Yeah.
mean, like yes, they have the best academy in the world, but their scouting networks are actually insane. You gotta remember that a lot of these players, a lot of these legends like Messi, um, Iniesta, they weren't originally from Barcelona, right? They didn't grow up in the academy. They were scouted, and then they came to the club. So like you gotta consider that like their scouting is elite. But with that being said, you also gotta consider that they gotta use the money. They gotta use the money correctly. They can't just spend like
Yeah.
for what I would say like for spending's sake, and you can't overpay either because again we're seeing nowadays everyone goes for 100 million, everyone goes for
No.
120, and especially when they're young, teams go crazy with that. So
Yeah.
he's got to use the money wisely. But I do like hearing that, right? That Deco's being given that autonomy, that power.
Yeah, there is some clash between Deco and Xavi and the sporting staff specifically, because Deco his target is like those young and promising and upcoming players. But at the same time, for example, the reason why we didn't go for Ivan Fresneda is because Xavi opted for the experience. Xavi and the sporting staff they want experience from our signings, and so I think it's a good mix to have both. And when you look at Deco's transfer targets, for example, it was Vitor Roque, Ivan Fresneda, you had Fabricio Diaz, you had uh, Gabriel Moscardo, all these young, excited, talented players, and especially from South America. And you know how many young and talented Argentine and Brazilian players can they come out?
Hmm.
And not even then, there's also some Ecuadorian players that are very good. And I think that Deco and the work that he's done so far, just targeting the players, I think he's done a fantastic job. Um, and at first, when Matteo Alemani he left, it was going to be a huge blow for the club because I think that the work that he's done at the same time was also fantastic. But it's also good to see that Laporta has basically replaced Matteo Alemani with also like another trustworthy and competent person like Deco.
Hmm.
But guys, final thoughts before we wrap everything up. Just final thoughts either on Lamine Yamal or on Xavi or on the topics that we just discussed.
Lamine Yamal can have my kids, bro. I
Lamine Yamal can
wholeheartedly
have my kids.
trust him. He has my life in his hands. Um, Now, but real talk, what a talent we have right now. I think he's gonna be very important this season in the UCL. I mean, we're already seeing flashes of him, and he's incredible. We just need Lewandowski to wake the fuck up and start taking advantage.
No, not even that. No. I actually counteract that. We
Because
need
Ferran Torres is like he's
we
actually
need
playing good.
we need Vitor
Yeah,
Roque to turn into the player that people are expecting him to turn into. Because Lewandowski, he has maybe another good year.
But this isn't a good year though. So far, it's been
Ooh,
No,
like yeah, wait. Are you saying
okay,
that
okay,
he's still gonna be here
okay.
after?
I believe.
now you
Okay,
got Elias stressing.
okay. Let me correct myself. I
My
believe
heart.
that without
Okay.
counting this year, or including this year, I think that after this year, he's gonna start going down in quality. So when people like Vitor Roque from like the Brazilian,
Yeah,
we need him to pan out, and then maybe you could have Yamal, Roque, and then you can focus on the left winger. You can do that, and then you can go back to the 4-3-3 that Xavi loves so much. But you need actual wingers, and now you're missing one because Yamal's gonna be that guy. Or we
he's
okay,
gonna, he's gonna be that
let's not
guy.
jinx it, but
He
he
is that
could be
guy.
that guy.
Yeah.
He's looking at like that guy, little
Uh,
guy.
but guys, we basically talked about. We mentioned our thoughts on Lamine Yamal. Hopefully, he has a fantastic season and he does really well. Hopefully, he does have like a injury-free season. That's the most important thing, and he gets regular minutes.
Don't train with Araujo.
I don't really whatever.
Don't train with him.
But definitely. But guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed our episode of our weekly news roundup. Guys, thank you as all for watching. And guys, remember, follow us on all of our social media platforms. Everything is at Kool-Aid Podcast. Make sure to go tune us there. But guys, as always,